What up, y'all? It is your man D Real, the Black Panther, stalking the urban jungle of vibranium D, bringing you another Be Real with D Real. Guess what? It's 2021. You knew that. I told you we was gonna make it. I've been telling you we are gonna make it, and we made it. So here we are. None the worse for wear. And I guess content for now. Life isn't as freaking horrible as it was a couple of months ago, and we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's far away, but there is light. Okay. First off, I just want to let y'all know, I had a happy new year. I had a very happy new year. I spent it with people I know care about me, basically family. And it was cool. We kicked it safely. We kicked it social distancing approved. Let's call it that. What I want to do this season, I guess you could call this a new season. This season is kind of, I want to add, little curves, to make this a more well-rounded edutainment type of show. And in that spirit, I have decided to add, little factoids and things like that may be unrelated to the core story or core topic that I'm going to be discussing. In other words, I'm trying to give y'all a little more variety. So I'll be doing things like, maybe giving like a couple of random historical facts or telling you something about something that you thought you knew about, but there's a little bit more history to it. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. It's going to go along with the new visual format, which is in the chrysalis cocoon. How about that? The cocoon stage, more or less, is kind of incubating and germinating and growing into something that I think will be a lot more appealing than my current format. So I like to say right now, I don't want to give away too much. All I want to say is stay tuned. But other than that, I hope that your 2021 is as prosperous and satisfying and edifying as you endeavor to make it be. Now, on to the fun stuff. All right. Let me put you in a place, okay? All right, let's do this. This is a totally hypothetical situation that I'm about to start off with, okay? And before I start off on my subject, I want everybody to know this topic might be a little bit scathing because it might hit you in the feels, basically. But as always, when I bring a topic to try to educate, to try to enlighten, to try to present information that you may not have thought about before. Just not to do a scorched earth type of thing and just be like, screw the guys, screw the girls, screw the conservatives, screw the liberals. I'm just going in hard. I am, but I don't want anyone to take it personal, okay? And let me give a disclaimer and say a lot of what I'm going to say today is based on my opinion, my experiences. If you want to hear about my opinions and you want to hear about my experiences, continue to listen. If you don't want to hear about my opinion, my experiences, y'all know how that works. Anyways, here's the hypothetical situation scenario that I'm coming up with. Okay, straight up, I was asking myself, and I was asking people I knew, are dogs, and when I say dogs, I mean people who have no regard for decorum in a relationship, respect in a relationship, fidelity in a relationship, because they do outlandish, crazy stuff in relationships. Case in point. Imagine, if you will, and it's based on somewhat factual situations that I've been observing and reading about as I did research for this topic. Imagine, if you will, that you are a man who is, and for, conversation context, let's just say you are a black man, and you are in a relationship with an Asian woman, and that Asian woman becomes pregnant. Okay, you're excited. This is your first kid. You're loving it. Yay, hooray, my first kid. What am I going to name him? What kind of stuff am I going to teach him? What kind of legacy am I going to leave for him? That kind of stuff. Just being excited about, being a dad. I'm going to teach him how to ride a bike. I'm going to teach him how to box. I'm going to teach him how to throw a football, baseball, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that dads do. Okay. 9 months go by, you in that last trimester, she's in labor, y'all, your feet's up in the stirrups, and out comes a little white baby. Okay. Yeah, when they're in the oven, they aren't quite done, and they have to come out in the world and get a little color to them. All right, I see that. But let's flash forward 3 months, and the baby is still translucent. Okay, that right there, that's infidelity, flat out. I mean, blood tests and all that kind of thing pending. There's gonna be a question mark over your head until you get that clarification. Is this little joke of mine or not? And you find out it's not yours. Okay. Now, I get it. Where everybody goes at the end of that scenario is, oh, that funky heifer, that nasty this, that trifling that. Expletive of your choice, put it in there, she'll be that. Okay, but that's not where I want your focus. Where I want your focus is on the male. Okay. How is he feeling right now? And what does that do to him long term? What does it do long term? Okay. And I have a theory that I've always had for quite some time now. That, well, first of all, when we hear that expression, all men are dogs. And don't tell me you ain't heard it, because you've heard it before. Probably a bunch of the people listening have said it. Okay. All men are dogs. Okay. And now here's my theory. All men aren't dogs. Okay. That is a blanket statement made by, and don't take this the wrong way, ladies, I say this in love. That is a blanket statement made by women who have made poor relationship choices. And I don't mean that in a way like, okay, you dumb. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is, you're not checking off all of those checks. Okay. You probably, does he got money? Check. All right, I'm with him. And then we don't go, and delve into any of that other stuff, like how did he treat his mama, or how does he treat his sister, and how does he talk around his friends when he's with you versus when he's not with you, and all of these other types of things that we don't observe when we anxious to just get some money, or in a woman's case, we anxious to get some money or some D. And again, don't say that in a mean way. I'm trying to get y'all to look a little deeper than just surface transgressions. I'm trying to get you to look at the kind of effect an experience like that has on a man. Say, for instance, that was his first love, or that was somebody who he was saying, okay, that's gonna be the one. I'm going to give this woman the universe. Okay, I'm gonna do everything for her. I would take a bullet for her. I'd take a stab for her. I'd take a ass whooping by like 4 or 5 dudes for her, because she's the one. Okay, that's how men think in general. That's how men are taught to think, who don't have that what is it I want to say? That connection to themselves as men and understand what they want in life. All they know is they want to be in love, or they're in love with the idea of being in love. Okay, and that's a hard thing to get somebody to identify with you on, or to get on board with. It's something that doesn't happen instantaneously. Now, don't get it twisted. There are people out there who have been married 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Okay, longevity in a marriage does not necessarily mean happiness in a marriage. Sometimes people stay married for the children. Sometimes people stay married because, just like my man Johnny Taylor said back in the day, it's cheaper to keep her. And it is cheaper to keep her. But is it psychologically sound? Here's what I'm getting at. Okay, like I said about this dog thing, all men are dogs. Okay, we already know all men are not dogs, but a lot of men are, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that or hide that or be that cat. It's like, okay, I'm for the fellas. No, I'm for truth, and the truth is this: men who are dogs, it's not a documented psychological thing, but I just feel like in my life experiences and my interactions with other men, I feel like there was this one experience that every man can equate, or at least men who have practiced infidelity, or who have been womanizers. They can trace it back to one woman who stomped all over their heart and just shitted on it. And rather than do what people are supposed to do and go, all right, I'm going to pick myself up, I'm going to dust myself off, and I'm going to give it another try. What ends up happening is dudes go, all right, women ain't shit, and every female after this chick is going to catch wreck, period, because I don't like how I felt. And I'm afraid, and I'm going to assume that all women are going to do that to me. And so, rather than taking what I like to call the offensive and going out there and trying to make a play, you go on defense. Okay, and every woman that comes at you is a potential target, a potential tree to chop down, somebody to smash, somebody to knock down, somebody to see how much money you can get out of them, somebody you can see how much this or that you can do, because it's a psychological thing that happens. It's like, okay, I was in love with you, but you didn't feel the way about me that I felt about you. So now I feel used. I feel manipulated. So now, rather than, like I said earlier, get up and dust yourself off like a real man and say, I'm going to go back at this the right way, but now I'm going to keep certain things in my mind. We just go all the way to the extreme and say, screw it. Every woman finna get the business. They finna get clowned. Everyone I see, I'm smashing and leaving. And it's not fair to a woman who has done nothing to you. I think that's something that psychologically we need to deal with. I went to a somewhat credible source to try to get some insight or like some thought process to help people understand where I'm coming from. And psychology today says that most people cheat or engage in infidelity because they've fallen out of love, they feel neglected, or are simply seeking variety. Okay. As far as that goes, this is all I'm gonna say. Fellas, it's 2021. You can tell a woman what you want. If you want to be in a tryst, the fair thing to do is say, hey, look here, you ain't the only woman I'm seeing. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 9 other women. But if you still want to engage with me, we can. I'm being upfront and forward with you and letting you know. If you ain't in the competition, or you ain't in the sharing, or you ain't in, then you should bypass me and move on to the next guy. I know that's a very non-realistic sounding scenario, but it does two things. First of all, it takes the duplicitous nature out of the situation. Because if I tell you what you're dealing with from the rip, and you actually see it or experience it or deal with it firsthand, you can't say I was being underhanded. You can't say I was high. And I use the word I loosely, not me, just that situation. So please don't think it's me. Anyway, you create the elements of that situation for good or for ill. Okay. And if someone's stepping up to you and telling you, they're giving you the choice. That's the thing with infidelity. It's a choice. You choose it. You choose to make it open. You choose to hide it. You choose to do these things. Okay. Whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of guilt, or whether it's out of just straight up, I'm a low down, dirty dog. Okay. Low down, dirty dog. Let's get back to that. How did low down, dirty dog become low down, dirty dog? This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm sipping my tea. It's good too. Excuse me. Ooh, that went down the wrong too. Okay, low down dirty dog was not always low down dirty dog. Believe it or not. Low down dirty dog wanted to be in love, just like women want to be in love. Everybody wants to be in love. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to feel like somebody gives two farts about them. You need that. I guess psychologically, on some level, you need that. Okay, so rather than go about it the right way, people who are dogs are dealing with their fear. They're dealing with their trauma. Because trust me, that's fit. I can tell you about me. There was this gal when I was in high school, or just got out of high school. I got out of high school. I was going in the Navy, and I was dating this one gal. And I mean, it was cool, church girl. Okay. And you know how like church folk is when they know that the girl is dating somebody, then the cousins and auntie and the sister and everybody was at the house and they were waiting, to do that thing, like where they drill you and ask y'all kind of go, what you doing? What's your job? What you trying to do? What you gonna do with your life? What you do? All that kind of stuff. Okay. Now I knew that's what was happening. And I'm in the living room and everybody's in like the dining room or the kitchen or some little area like that, waiting to grill me, ask me all kinds of questions. But I'm not finna go in there and be like, oh, I'm in love with her and I want to marry her. Maybe that's what people want to hear, or that your intentions are noble, or, that kind of a thing. But to me, I took it like, these people think I'm foul. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in here. I mean, that was I'm 17. Come on now. This is my interpretation of it. So I got up and walked out. Because it's like, y'all ain't finna have me up in here talking all kind of crazy mess about me and telling me about, well, if you stick your little stinger in there, we gonna cut it off. And, because it was all women. You see what I'm saying? If there was some men in there, I would have been like, okay, I can handle this, because all my life, that's where I got all of my advice and feedback and information about what you should do with the opposite sex was from men. So for me to be exposed to a room full of women was like, oh, I'm feeling defensive. So I don't want to go in there and disrespect nobody's mama, grandma, auntie, and get beat up. So I'm gonna just leave. And I don't know, I guess that was taken as I didn't want to be with her. I did, but I mean, I don't know. I was afraid. I didn't want to go in there and deal with all of that foolishness. So she took that like, I guess she did. I don't know. I've never spoken to her to get clarity on the situation, but from what I could tell, she took it like I didn't want to be around her. And so she proceeded to move on. Okay. It's not like there was any sex involved or anything like that. There was a heart. I'm gonna say hearts plural. It was a heart involved, my heart. Okay. And I felt like that day I didn't get a fair shake. And I tried to, reach out and explain and talk. And, and time got short and then I had to go. And I was in the military. And, and you write them letters, them little Dear Susie letters. And, hey, how you doing? And whoop, 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 blah, blah, blah. All that mess, And then when I go home on leave, you write me all these letters and say, oh, yeah, I miss you too, blah, 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 blah. All of that. Then when I get home on leave, you're distant. You don't want me to touch you. You don't want to be around you. So, what's that all about? Not tripping. Went back, and I'm getting ready to buy a ring, y'all. I'm getting ready to buy a ring. That's how serious it was for me. And that's probably stupid, but I mean, that's where it was. And come to find out, she in a relationship. Not just messing with, she in a relationship with another dude. Okay, that would have been nice to let me know the 2 times I was home and just so there. I felt like, oh, she knew. She did that on purpose. That was wrong. So me, rather than say, okay, I'm gonna pick myself up, dust myself off, and I'm gonna give this another chance, it was trauma. And so I was one of those cats that said, from this day forth, every woman that do this, blah, 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 they gonna catch it. Now, don't get me wrong. Since her, I've been in relationships with other women, and the relationship was cool. But in the back of my head, it was always, I don't trust you because you have the potential to hurt me. tremendously. And I know that's the way a lot of people think who have been in a situation where they've been hurt and or there was some infidelity involved, cheating. It does something, man. It creates a mental block that does not allow you to see beyond the transgression, or the transgression becomes the lesson. And what I mean by that is, in your mind, you say to yourself, I ain't never letting this happen again, because I'm going on the offensive. I'm not going to be waiting for it to happen and try to fend it off. I'm going out. I'm attacking. I'm becoming a predator. I'm going to destroy. I'm going to pillage. I'm going to raise. You know what I'm saying? And that is created. That's not something that somebody sits around. At least my theory about it is, that's not something somebody sits around and goes, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people who do. Okay, I'm not telling anybody to be naive. Don't ever be naive. What I'm saying is, men fall in three categories. At least this is from what I can discern and what I've experienced and lived. Men fall in three categories. There are men, a man who is truly a man in every sense of the word, that blah, blah, blah. He's honest and straightforward in all of his dealings. So from Jump Street, you know what you're dealing with. That's one kind of guy. That's straight up man. Second, you have the duplicitous man. Okay. The duplicitous man is not far removed from the man. He's honest, straightforward, just like the man is, except when it comes to relationships and, the opposite sex or whatever sex they prefer. There's a hidden agenda. You're not going to 100% get what you need to see from this guy, okay? Because he's been traumatized. He's been traumatized in a situation like that at least once. Some people go in again and get traumatized a couple more times, and then they just like, F it, okay? I ain't gonna be in no relationship no more at all, okay? I'm just gonna be there. I'm gonna be player. Just gonna be a player. You know what I'm saying? I'm a split it, hit it, and quit it. You know what I'm saying? And that's crude. I know that sounded terribly crude, but I mean, that's forgive me, ladies. That was yucky. But anyway, also, while I'm giving you information, okay, according to Psychology Today, men cheat more than women do. I'm sure that is not a huge revelation to anyone listening right now. Some men, not all men, some men are dogs, and dogs are created. At least that's the way I feel about it, because that was the title of today's podcast. Are dogs born, created, or self-styled? Okay, they're created, and then they become self-styled. Okay, because a man that's a dog can choose either A, to continue being a dog, or B, say, all right, I'm gonna give this one more chance. Because we get caught up in the, I'm just going ahead and say it. We get caught up in the power that being duplicitous can sometimes give you. A lot of men, they create these false images of themselves and present this false image to themselves to women, and the woman doesn't fall in love with that man. The woman falls in love with that image, the facade that man portrays to her. And because it's an emotional thing, women are emotional creatures, so they extend emotions. They reach out with tentacles of emotion, tendrils of emotion everywhere. Okay. And if you can't identify with that emotional aspect of that makes up the large part of a woman, I do not suggest being in relationships with women because it's just something you're going to deal with. Sometimes woman wake up and everything's fine. Another day, woman might wake up and everything's horrible. And in a relationship, you have to be a part of that. And what I mean by being a part of that is it ain't your place to solve that trauma or to make things better. It's your job to be there. I mean, nobody cares if you got a degree in psychology and can solve that problem or not. They just want you to be a comfort. They want you to be there to support. And sometimes all support can be is just you sitting there being a shoulder, literally being a shoulder to cry on. But, men, we like to fix stuff. We want to repair it. We want to make it better. We want to improve it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we go with it. But as far as us, nobody does that to us. Nobody asks us how we're doing emotionally. Nobody asks us if we're fine. Everybody just simply assumes that we are because we're men. And if we ain't fine, we're supposed to deal with it. And then that's another thing that's misunderstood. We are expected to be men. That's the expectation. Nobody says, what do you need emotionally to be a man? Because as men, we have always been taught, push the emotion down and do what a man has to do and keep it pushing. And that's precisely what men do. We push the emotion down. That's not what we're supposed to do. That's not what we should do. When we came all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to the first woman who we said was the one, that, in my opinion anyway, is the outlook you have to keep. You can't see ahead of you if you got something in your way. I have to look around it. I can't see around it. And that trauma that men have from being heartbroken or cheated on or, whatever the situation was, we carry that. Just like women carry it. But women carry it in a form that they need to be loved. Men carry it in a form like we need to be respected because men are about respect. Men are about being respected. Men are about giving respect if respect is given. If it ain't given, you ain't getting it. And that's, that's the whole thing. Now, women believe that infidelity can come in many forms. Okay. A lot of women believe watching pornography is kind of infidelity. I don't agree, but I mean, it's here. Let's see what psychology today has to say. Is pornography a form of cheating? Since the partner viewing porn doesn't know and isn't physically with the performers, many view porn as potentially problematic, but not actual infidelity. However, some partners insist that any sexual activity outside of the relationship is an offense. Experts suggest that couples be open as possible with each other and discuss if one partner's use of porn points to signs of trouble in the couple's own sexual connection. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that, and don't ask me how I know because I'm not going to tell you, too much pornography can be a problem. Yes. If you get to the point where you're starting to prefer the pornography over some real life stuff sitting in front of you, that's wrong. I'm sorry. Ladies, you are not stuff. My woman is not stuff. Well, she's my stuff. But anyway, when you prefer a picture or a video over a live human being, might be a teeny little issue going on right there. But since we are created, that means in a lot of cases, we are not responsible for the circumstances that made us what we are as men. Because there's a lot of men who don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? I got a buddy been married like 29, 30 something years, man. And he ain't, I put it like this. He ain't stuck himself in nothing. He ain't inserted himself in something else. Okay, but we're human beings. And if it's something nice, we gonna look. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got to the point now where I'm just like, okay, I don't know how y'all expect me not to look. Everybody looks. Come on now. When you meet somebody, that initial meeting is about 70% visual. Trust me. I mean, you looking for what is this your type? Is she short? Is she tall? Is she muscular? Is she fat? Does she got a regular build? Does she got, you know what I'm saying? It's visual. The thing about that is to not let the visual component of that become the obsession. You know, once you got your visual, like, all right, yeah, I'm digging that. Let me pull back another layer and see what this person is like actually. Okay. Yo, I am in the middle. If you just walked in, well, you just walked in. I'm halfway through it. But if you just walked in, I am talking about dogs, men as dogs. Is that born, created, or self-styled? Okay. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is men being dogs is created by trauma. A lot of times, more often than not. I'm not saying all circumstances where a man did a woman dirty or cheated on a woman or something foul happened. I'm not saying all circumstances of those men who did that was because of trauma. I mean, there's just some folks, like I said, that third cat, he just foul. Okay, you got a man, you got a duplicitous man, and you just got a foul man. There are some people on this earth who are just foul. Okay, you can't do nothing about it. I mean, you got good, you got evil, you got neutral. Just like if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, I know I'm nerding here for a second, but if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons, when you creating a character or you making a character, there's a category called alignment. Okay, and in alignment, I mean, you got good, you got evil, you got neutral, you got chaotic good, you got chaotic evil, you got chaotic neutral. You know what I'm saying? That's your alignment. That's where your alignment is. And just like in Dungeons and Dragons, you got those same kind of alignments in real life. I might be chaotic neutral, which means I'm not for the bad guys. I'm not for the good guys. So in this particular situation, this particular instance, okay, I'm no angel, I'm no saint, but I'm no irredeemable demon either. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's called being human. Everybody's human. And we all have the capacity to do critical thinking. We all have the capacity to forgive. And as I was always taught, forgiveness, me participating in the act of forgiving is not for me. It's not just for me. You don't have to accept my forgiveness, but it's my duty to forgive. After I forgive, there's nothing that says I have to continue to interact with, be in a relationship with, or even be friends with a woman who has transgressed against me, who has done something again, much the same way with men. Yeah, you ain't got to be bothered with that man no more. But if knowing what you know about a person and you continue to interact, what Maya Angelou say, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Okay. And if a person shows you that they have had that trauma and they are not ready to be exclusive, don't push the issue. That's what happens. Women push the issue. Oh, you gonna be faithful to me. You gonna be in a relationship with me. Really? Okay, we're gonna be in a relationship, but not the one you think. My relationship consists of Karina, Tina, Aisha, Tanisha, Dawn, Carol, Cheryl. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm deep down inside afraid of all of y'all. I'm afraid of what y'all gonna do to me. I'm afraid of how y'all gonna treat me. So I'm taking the offensive and treating you how I think you might treat me first. And depending on the level of, I guess the best word I can use, depending on the level of depravity, the level of exposure you are willing to give to a man determines where you fit in that echelon. If all a man wants is to feel good, and that feel good is about feeling good physically, then the person who makes me feel good physically the most is the one who gets the top tier. Because that's all I'm out for. I just want to feel good. Okay. And I'm rather, because I could not get that emotional feel good, I'm getting another kind of feel good. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's the thing you should do. I'm just saying it happens. And it happens a lot. And it doesn't happen the way a lot of women interpret it because they're looking at it through the lens of hurt, of pain. You see what I'm saying? So a woman getting done like that does not deserve to get done like that. She don't deserve to be cheated on. She don't deserve to be lied to. She don't deserve to be played. Okay. However, comma, you got to understand who and what you're dealing with. So that's why it's so important to know somebody. Okay. A lot of times we don't know people or we don't get to know people. And so because we don't get to know them, we don't get to see those aspects of them vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I want to see people vulnerable at least once, vulnerable to me, opened up to me, wide open to me, letting me see the true them. You know what I'm saying? Because in relationships, people don't show you who they are initially. You know, I think it was comedian Chris Rock who said, okay, people don't show you who they are. People show you their representative. They show you what they think you want to see. And they parade that in front of you in an attempt to impress you, or as most men do, to get you to lower your guard. Okay? Because most women have to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know what they're dealing with. Because there's, again, those three types of men out there, and you're looking for that one. But that one, he's like a needle in a haystack, ladies. So when you find him, you better put your foot on him because he might wiggle away and jump back in the water. You know, I encourage all men, and when I say men, I mean men. That first category, a man who's honest in his dealings and he's not duplicitous. Those men aren't looking for you, ladies. They're too busy being focused on what makes them men, doing and saying the things that make them upright and non-duplicitous. Okay. A man who knows who he is can't be moved by anything. He can't be moved by money. He can't be moved by promises. And he sure can't be moved by sex because he knows who he is. I'm going to be honest with you. It took me, I say, well into my 30s before I figured out what kind of man I was and wanted to be. I'm not saying I'm perfect, far from it, but I have a heart. And I feel like where I am relationship wise, my heart is safe. So I don't respond in a relationship or in my relationship with a shield. You know what I mean? I'm not like, what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? I don't feel that. I've been in relationships where I felt like, what's she gonna do? I don't know what's up with this woman, but it's a good feeling to not have to be on your toes all the time. You just sit down, relax, and be like, everything's everything. I'm cool as a fan. Dogs are created. No one's born a dog. If you have negative influences when it comes to relationships, that's what's created. If you have positive influences in your life with regard to relationships, that's what's created. Nobody's born a dog. And what gets my goat more than anything else is women who say all men are dogs. Do you know what women say all men are dogs? Women who have been dogged. But if all I've ever dated was women who hurt me, then I would think all women ain't nothing. I would, you know what I'm saying? That's just a given. I think we all have to have at least one rough relationship to kind of galvanize us and show us what we don't want to be a part of. But at the same time, being in a relationship that works for you is a beautiful thing. It helps you to deal with trauma because, and when I say trauma, I'm talking about the trauma that we've talked about today. It helps you deal with trauma that you would otherwise, or at least a man would turn into negative energy that gets dispensed at the expense of a woman who probably doesn't deserve what's going to happen to her. Now, I'm not saying blame the woman that caused the trauma. I mean, in my situation, I was 17 years old, and I'm pretty sure that she had no idea that I was very nervous about the situation, and so I just left because I felt like, okay, people trying to, put me in a twist, and I felt like I didn't want to be in no twist. I wanted to be in front of her, and I wanted to be worthy of her. Why do I got to be worthy of your grandma and your grandparents and your aunties? And I get it, but I mean, y'all got to think, man. Y'all put pressure. Think about old boy on Bad Boys. When Will Smith and Martin Lawrence was giving old boy the third, fourth, and fifth degree and scaring the crap out of him. That's what happens when relatives show up in force and be sitting somewhere. I guess I should have been brave enough to stand in that crucible and say, these are my intentions towards your daughter, your child, your granddaughter, your niece. Maybe I should have stood in there and just caught all of that wreck, and they would have saw, well, at least he's willing to stand up, and But I mean, if the only experiences you've ever had in relationships is negative ones, and I mean that was formative. You know what I mean? That was not to say I hadn't already like dated or been in relationships before her, because I had, but she, quote unquote, was the one. And when that wasn't fulfilled and all this other crazy stuff started happening, then it was like, oh, is this what I have to look forward to? That's what you think in 17, 18. This what I got to look forward to? Oh, well, let me go and sow my royal oats, like my man on Coming to America. It's a thing. It's a thing. I'm not condoning or anything like that, but it happens. Long story short, golden rule. That's the only thing I can dispense in a situation like this right now. It's just golden rule. Everybody, men, women, whoever, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want people to treat you like a doormat and all of that, that's good and fine. But one day you're going to run into somebody who ain't having it. Then what? You're going to have to make a decision. So, of the three types of men, the man, the duplicitous man, and the just all-out foul man, we need to be able to look at people subjectively. Take them on a case-by-case basis. Not all people are this or all people are that. You don't want, what I'm saying? You don't want, all black people are lazy. You know what I'm saying? All Chinese people or Asian people are stingy. You know what I'm saying? All, white people want to rule the earth. I don't put everybody in a little box. Get to know them and understand them before you make an assessment about it. You know what I'm saying? I got people who I've met, like about a year ago, who I'm still making assessments about because I ain't 100% sure. People give you layers. Like I said, you get that representative. You know what I'm saying? So it'll probably be years, before you see, the real them or the real whoever they are. And so that's quantified even more if it's a romantical relationship. You know what I'm saying? What are you showing me right now? Who are you showing me? So it all boils down to the fact that we need to learn to be nicer to one another. We need to learn how to treat each other like actual human beings, especially in relationships, because men and women do some downright foul stuff to each other in relationships. I've been in relationships that was crazy. I've seen relationships that are crazier. And it all boils down to, in my opinion, a lack of respect. We lose mutual respect for one another as human beings. And just like this article said here, people are looking for something new. You know what I mean? People are feeling neglected. You know what I'm saying? Are you taking care of me in the bedroom? And from there, that's how stuff happens. Or there just ain't no fire in a relationship no more. Not to say that's a reason to do somebody dirty, but it exists. If you know that's what's going on in your relationship, address it. The worst thing that you can do, or the worst thing that you can say, is nothing. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it because I ain't telling you what I read, I'm telling you what I lived. This has been Be Real with D Real. First Be Real with D Real of 2021. I will be back next week with another topic to engage you and make you flex that gray matter. Until then, y'all be good and y'all be good to each other. Be good to each other. Peace.